Namaste. Uh, Thank you for coming to Teach For Nepal's info session. My name is Sisir Khanna. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Teach For Nepal. Prior to this, I completed my ISc at Trichandra College and I went to US for my further studies. I did my bachelor's and master's in the US. I studied political science and public policy. After that, I worked internationally, mostly in international development with a Sri Lanka-based organization called Sarvodaya. Inspired by the grassroots social change movement in Sri Lanka, I came back to Nepal in 2008 and we started Sarvodaya Nepal, which was totally a voluntary group. We started working in communities, rural communities, and realized the challenges of school and public education at public schools, and therefore we started Teach For Nepal. So I'm sure you're here to learn more about what Teach For Nepal is, हामीले के गरिराखेका छौं. Therefore, we'll start with the presentation today about Teach For Nepal. I'll probably take about half an hour to make this presentation, and at the end of this presentation, you'll have an opportunity to ask a question. Let me start with the presentation first. So as you can see on the screen, we say that one day all children in Nepal will receive an excellent education. So that's the mission and vision of Teach For Nepal. But why are we saying that? We feel that at this point, Nepal's public school education is in real crisis. Let me start with a video to share why we are saying there is a crisis. Over the number of years, as a country, we've really made good progress. UNICEF's data tells us that about 96% kids at the age of 4, 5, or 6 are enrolled in school. कक्षा 1 पढ्ने उमेर समूहका 96% विद्यार्थीहरू स्कुलमा छन्. But that's really amazing number, but is that enough? What we know is that if 100 kids enroll in a school, 22 will either repeat or drop out at the end of the first grade. About 25% kids in the 4th grade can't count more than 10. That means they can't count double-digit numbers. Of the 100, only 30 will make it to grade 10. 70 will drop out before grade 10. And at the end of grade 10, all of us have to take that examination called SLC, and historically only about 45% students who take the exam pass. Of these 360,000 kids who failed this year, what's their future likely to be? कस्तो फ्युचर हुन्छ त उनीहरूको के सम्भावना छ त what are the possibility and potential for these people who fail this test? What lively opportunity do they have in Nepal? Do they actually have any livelihood opportunity in Nepal? So this number is just not number. Let's take an example. We'll like to see another video as an example of potential outcome, potential opportunity, or potential outcome for these young people who fail SLC, or actually do not even make it to grade 10, drop out early. What can they do? This video will show a potential path that some of these people might take.
Qatar, one of the richest countries in the world per capita. Its booming construction industry has been fueled by its successful bid to host the 2022 World Cup. But while arguments rage over the risks footballers will face playing in Qatar's extreme heat, migrant workers from Nepal are dying on the job in record numbers. This glittering world is built by men who live in a very different one.
त्यही हो प्रब्लम भनेको त्यही हो यहाँ हाम्रो अब त्यो टोयलेट बाथरुम हेर्दाखेरि त्यस्तै छ केही त्यसको सफाइ छैन हैन सब उस्तै छ यहाँ 12 एक रुममा चाहिँ 12 14 जना मान्छे हालेछ हैन 2 वर्ष भएको हामीले बेडै सिट दिए छैन भन्छ आफै किनेर ल्याऊ.
These labor camps on the outskirts of the capital Doha are home to thousands of migrant workers. In this camp, over 600 men share just 2 kitchens.
सैलरी तो 900 है. नेपाल में बताया वो 1200 है प्लस 300 खाने का है. जब ऐसा मालूम होता है तो बहुत घबराहट होता है और क्या.
This worker now shares a tiny room with 11 other men not far from the exclusive hotels of central Doha. But despite being cheated, he feels he cannot leave.
मतलब इतना मेरा खर्च है पर मेरा बीवी है फैमिली है पूरा परिवार है मेरा इतना खर्च है घबराहट होता है मतलब इतना बचत होएगा लेकिन मजबूरी है कि हम जो लगा के आए हैं उसको तो निकालना पड़ेगा ना बशर्ते. हाँ मैं वही सोच के आया लेकिन वो ऐसा इधर नहीं है.
Many migrants allege they are forced to work without pay, often for months. In the worst cases, migrants have no choice but to run away and find alternative work illegally.
पैसा हैन ऋण काटेर आएको त्यो तिर्न सकेन त्यही भएर भागे. भयो नि कहिले पानी पाएन कहिले खबस पाएन कहिले खाना पाएन भाग्नु पर्यो पुलिस देख्दाखेरि के गर्ने अब समस्या एउटा हैन अब जिन्दगीमा फचोडे नि अब यस्तो समस्याहरु भोग्नु पर्यो.
While some long to go home, others return to Nepal much sooner than they could ever have imagined. Ganesh Biswakarma left his home in rural Nepal for a job in Qatar. 6 weeks later, he died of a cardiac arrest. He was just 16.
Ganesh Biswakarma, age 16. The time that he should have taken SLC examination and passed. Why does he return in body bag? Individual like you and I who go to some of the best schools in Nepal, individual who went to Rato Bangla, Ullens, St. Mary's, St. Xavier's, Budanil Kanto, Little Angels, Siddhartha Banastali, how many of them have to face the same fate that they would have to return back to Nepal on body bag? Can you think of anyone? we'll be very hard pressed to find a person. But why does Ganesh Biswakarma has to return back to Nepal in body bag? Every single day, 1,500 Nepali young men and women leave this country. 3 to 5 of them will come back in a body bag. 3 to 5 every single day. If they had gone to some of the best schools in Nepal, would they return back in body bag? And that's the question we are asking at Teach For Nepal. Again, looking at this year's SLC data, almost 44% kids passed nationwide. But when we have two kinds of school system, one is a public school, government-run schools, other is a private school. In private school, 93% kids passed. In government school, less than 30, only 28%. And that's a historical record. That's a historical trend. Every single year, children who go to private school pass close to about 90%. Every single year, kids in government school pass at the rate of less than 30%. But if you look at overall student population, over 85% kids in Nepal are still in government school. That means those who fail, that 360,000 kids, most of them, huge majority of them, came from government schools. And interestingly enough, over 90% of them fail only in 3 subjects. All of us know: math, English, or science. But why? There are 6, 7, 8 subjects that kids have to take SLC on, but then only most of the kids, over 90%, fail only in 3. But why? We think this problem, this challenge, is because of our cultural and social and structural issue that exists in Nepal. When somebody passes SLC, what do we first tell them? If somebody does really well, first division, distinction, what do we ask them to do? What do we ask them to pursue in further studies? Science, obviously, because we expect them to pursue careers in technology, go to become an engineer, become a doctor, or now go to business school, pursue BBA or BBS or MBA so that people can have a career in business area. But how many of our teachers or parents say that you've done really well, ekdam ramro padyo, go and pursue education degree, go and do I-8, B-8 and go and teach. And so the way our culture, the society, our family expectation is that we ask all of our best minds, best talents to pursue careers in science and technology, but not ask them to teach. And if we're sending individuals who struggle to pass through SLC, who then would join education program and then become teachers, then what kind of results can we expect from our system? If some of our best minds don't ever think of going into teaching, then what kind of results do we expect? The result that we see today. We also know that the problem that we face in Nepal is not just the problem of teacher. There are many different issues that impact education or learning outcome of our children. The issues of family, the community, school, policy, the student, everything comes together to make this problem this big and huge. Despite the challenge, this humongous challenge, we're talking about 29,000 public schools, we're talking about almost 5-6 million kids who are currently enrolled in a system. Despite this big challenge, we believe that solution is possible. And our solution are some of the top Nepali young leaders. Teach For Nepal attracts some of the top outstanding Nepali young university graduates to join Teach For Nepal fellowship and go and teach in government school for 2 years. Currently, we have about 50 Teach For Nepal fellows teaching in 25 different schools across Lalitpur and Sindhupalchok district. They are teaching to 3,600 kids in 100 different classrooms. They come from all kind of academic background. They studied social science, humanities, they were journalists, they completed engineering, social work, sciences, BBA, MBA, education, and healthcare. I believe that except for somebody who's become a doctor, completing MBBS, our fellow represent all major disciplines in Nepal. So by putting some of these best young talents in the school as classroom teacher, we hope to convert this negative vicious cycle into a virtuous cycle. We put some of these best mind as a teacher, they teach, that would lead into student learning better, and then eventually increasing the type of individuals we attract into education and teaching. This is a dream, but this dream is not just of one person. There are many people who share this dream together to transform Nepal's education and Nepal as a whole. But our fellows are not just teachers, they're leaders. They lead in the classroom. They're not just walking into a classroom with just a chalk and a duster. Every single day they make lesson plan. They think about how to make their class interesting so that kids actually learn, just not memorize and rote learn the material and think of passing the test. But how can the students in our classroom in government school learn by local resources, by looking at community assets that exist in community, in school, and in themselves. Our fellow, during their 2 years, they also live in the community. That means they're also learning about challenges that exist in Nepal. 83% of the country still lives in rural area. But oftentimes, we don't really understand what the challenges are. Because we don't understand the challenges, we can't create solutions for it. So this fellowship is an opportunity for young people to first go and live in rural Nepal, understand all kinds of challenges, and also start thinking about solutions, different kind of solutions, so that we can fundamentally transform Nepal. So in that sense, Teach For Nepal is a leadership platform. As I said earlier, the challenges we see in education is not just simply about teachers. It's about entire system. It's about school. It's about communities. It's about families. So therefore, to eventually get to this ultimate vision of providing excellent education to all children, we then also must create solutions that would have impact in many areas. So therefore, we believe that this, if you join Teach For Nepal Fellowship, you will have a very transformative impact. First, you'll work in a very, very challenging school system where you have to think about, not just about teach. How do you teach a kid who just walked 3 hours on the mountain and is hungry? How do you teach kid when local community does not have water source or the school doesn't have good water source? How do you teach a kid who couldn't do his homework or her homework because he had to take care of her sibling or cook food, or that last night the drunkard father beat the mother? How do you teach that? How do you create solutions? Once we start creating solutions in this challenging context, we believe that the experience that you get and the training and support we provide will lead into a very transformative experience, and that you would not only just teach but would want to continue to become part of a solution over the long term. Therefore, over next 20-25 years, we want to see Teach For Nepal Fellows as alumni leading bureaucracy, leading politics, leading business, leading social sector in Nepal. So thus creating a movement of leaders in all sectors, so all dedicated to one mission, all dedicated to ensuring one goal, that every single side, regardless of where they come from, the family they come from, economic, social status they come from, working towards providing best possible education to every single child. This problem is not just local. We're part of a global movement. There are many similar programs in about 35 different countries right now. Each is an independent movement but working to recruit some of the best talents in their own country so that every single child can attain the best possible education. Just want to share another video of our global network, which would illustrate the challenges that exist around the world.
70% girls in Pakistan cannot read a road sign. That's really problematic.
40% of Bulgarian youth are functionally illiterate.
Only 20% of the adult population in Malaysia have a tertiary education or higher.
In the Lebanese landscape, we've got 1 million students that are in schools every day. Half of them are going to underprivileged schools.
Teach For All is a network of countries around the world that are enlisting their country's most promising future leaders in tackling educational inequity. They're going out recruiting their top recent college graduates, asking them to commit 2 years to teach in high-need communities in pursuit of really important immediate impacts for the kids growing up today, and also in pursuit of really important long-term impact, cultivating those teachers for a lifetime of educational leadership and advocacy so that they'll be a force for long-term fundamental change against this problem.
My vision to Teach for Lebanon is to have a pool of leaders who are leading an education reform initiative that would actually transform the lives of students and give them the opportunity for quality education.
The fellows at Teach For Pakistan truly believe that every single child should and must have an access to an excellent education.
Never know where the cure for cancer might come, or who might be saving the rainforest the next day.
I really want my students to become more independent, more empowered to make good choices for themselves. I think for them to realize their own strengths, that no matter where they come from, they can have that ability to explore.
Some student told me I wanted to be a doctor. I told him, you can be. Some other students told me that I want to be a teacher because you are a good teacher. Teach for Lebanon gave me the opportunity to be a change agent.
When you are transformed as a person, your capacity to transform others is unleashed. Our kids deserve the most talented professionals, and that this is applicable to every single person.
I think one of the most prominent beliefs that I was left with after my fellowship was that every child can learn. If we so deeply believe that every child can learn, then we must also very deeply believe that given the right skills and training, every teacher is capable to lead a classroom to that level of achievement. I'm currently working with the Thermax Foundation. We're working towards creating an in-service professional development program for public school educators.
I see many common points between running a startup and teaching. You have to deal with uncertainty. So many things that you can't control and you have to deal with them, that I think that's definitely something that I'm still learning today.
The same issues exist globally, but the same appetite for change exists globally, and the same potential exists for us to see it change in our lifetime.
The solutions are shareable. So you start envisioning all sorts of people all around the world channeling their energy towards taking this issue on, but as part of a global network where they're sharing solutions with each other, it just has such accelerating potential.
Without Teach For All, Teach For Bulgaria would never exist. Without the examples of success that we have seen in older partners and more established partners, no one would have ever thought that it is possible for the educational system in Bulgaria to change.
I think the network is quite unique worldwide. I haven't seen any sort of a network that actually collaborates to think about quality education and how to basically engage leaders in moving things forward. So the opportunity of being in such a network is priceless.
The phrase that you're not alone, it takes another meaning. There is a person out there or a group of people out there that are fighting for the same thing that you are.
It's really a worldwide leadership force that is working towards the common good of the world.
Education is the key to solving all other problems in society.
Education directly leads to future income and livelihood opportunities and health outcomes.
If we can improve educational levels around the world, if we can decrease educational disparities, we'll improve all of our collective welfare.
But the best thing of all, I would say, is what happens when students taste what learning is, and when that happens, nothing stops them.
And the solutions we're talking about, the long-term ideas, the vision of change is not something we'd imagine. It's based on a proven model. It started in US as Teach For America in 1990. So I want to share some of the experiences that Teach For America fellow core members and alums are currently impacting on. For example, let's take the example of Mike Feinberg and Dave Levin, who did Teach For America for 2 years, taught in a very challenging school. After that, they felt that the school system was not good enough in supporting the type of school that go to the challenging school system. So they created a school called KIP, Knowledge is Power program. Now there are 162 those schools around the US which have thousands of students enrolled, and they have one of the best success rate for high school graduation in the US. Let's take the example of Miss Ellery, who also did Teach For America. After that, she is currently known as one of the major force, a reformer in education in the US. She used to be Chancellor of Washington, D.C. School system, where she led reform initiative. Another person is Mike Johnston, who currently is a Colorado senator, but again, he started as a Teach For America core member. He taught for 2 years, then went on to lead a school as a principal, and currently he is leading policy reform as senator at the state level. Closer to home in India, when Teach For India started, Gaurav Singh joined Teach For India. He was an engineer, worked in a multinational company, but then left that to teach in slum schools in India. After that, when he completed 2 years, again he felt that the existing school system was not able to address all the challenges that the kids experience who come from slum. So he went on to start his first school called 321 in Mumbai, and they have they really want to scale this up by starting 100 different schools over the next 15 years. So again, we believe that because it's young individuals who have done this program around the world have not only made impact in the 2 years, but they have also gone on to create much bigger impact after their fellowship. Because so many young people around the world have been able to prove that this works, we also believe that our young people in Nepal have the same capacity and potential to create impact. Therefore, we believe that this journey is not only of 2 years, it's a life-term commitment to ensure quality education for all children. We're currently working in 2 districts, in 25 schools with 50 fellows. We want to increase this to 80 fellows by next year. Therefore, we're currently recruiting for additional 60 fellows. We're taking application. Our final deadline is November 30th. Hopefully, you'll join this movement. I believe that this is not just about one day. We can, if we all work together, if we all come together, we can achieve this mission in our lifetime. And that's our commitment, that in our lifetime, we will ensure that every single child in Nepal will receive an excellent education. Thank you so much. I'll then open for question and answer. Obviously, many of you would have question about how does a fellowship look like, what does a fellowship experience would be. So fellowship starts with once we make an offer and you sign the contract, we start with 6 weeks of residential training. We call that a learning institute. It's a full-time residential training. Before we place our fellows in this school, you must go through this. If you don't go through this, we can't place you in a school system. During the institute, we mostly train our fellows on how to teach, how to plan lessons, how to manage classroom, because most of our fellows come from non-education background. That's a very critical element of becoming an effective teacher and a classroom leader. Once we place you, starting in April, Baisakh Nepalma Naya Shaichik Satra Suru Hune Bittikai, then we continuously support you. There is one full-time staff person for every 15 fellows called Leadership Development Manager. Their job is to support you in the classroom and in the community. They will come, visit your classroom, observe lesson, give you feedback on how to improve. But if you experience any challenge in the school or in the community, you also can reach out and seek advice and help at any time. After that, during the first year, every 2 months or so, we bring all the fellows together for further follow-up training. For the first year, there's a lot of challenges and discussion and training around classroom issues. And at the end of the year, we do another sort of full retreat, leadership retreat, to sort of think and plan for the second year. Second year starts then starts coming out of the classroom to think about community issue. During the second year, we expect our fellows to do at least one community project under the title "My Community, My Responsibility," Mero Samudaya, Mero Daitwa. Beginning of the second year, we start thinking about your first year of experience, the many different challenges you have experienced as a fellow during the first year, the challenges you have seen in the school and in the community, and based on that, you can create a solution. Some of these solutions could be something you could work even after your fellowship. We go during the second year, there will be a lot of training and discussion about your own personal leadership, but also about how do you lead a project, how do you plan for a project, and also as an alumni, what are your interest area, what would you want to do after the fellowship. And at the end of this fellowship, you'd be inducted as Teach For Nepal alum. You definitely would have an opportunity to access global resources that's extended to Teach For All partner network alums. On top of that, Teach For Nepal also works with you to support in the areas that you're interested, particularly in the area of large social change and ending education injustice. Who are we really looking for? Who is Teach For Nepal fellow? One big thing is this is not just an opportunity to get a job. We're primarily interested in individuals who are really interested in changing Nepal. So interested in social change. Second, we're all interested in people who has a demonstrated history of a strong academic record. That doesn't mean we're looking for people who have always been first or second or have distinction mark, but we're looking for people who can at least teach 3 subjects, either math, science, or English. If you have a master's degree in English, but can't really speak or write well in English, we can't take you. I mean, degree is not what we are after. We are mostly after your ability to teach and lead classroom in one of these 3 subjects. Second, we're also looking for people with leadership potential. What does that mean? That means that have you just been a student without just studying your books and memorizing books and scoring very high mark in your examinations or tests? Or have you also participated in other activities in your community, in your school? So those 3 are major components we look into our fellows. All of our application is online at teachfornepal.org. When you go to our website, you'll see an apply link. Then once you click that, there's a one-page form, which is just a registration link. You'd put your name, phone number, email address. Once you submit that, that's the first point of contact we usually have with you. After we receive that, we then can call you to invite you to attend information session like this or to other events, or also provide you on completing application. We have a support team which actually supports all of our potential candidates. Our application is a little longer than usual, therefore we make a lot of calls. The application includes 2 essays, it's 5 pages long. Essay questions are already on the front page, so you would know what to expect at the end of the form. We recommend that you actually type that up before you go online. Sometimes it's difficult to access internet, and then submit the form. Once you then submit the form, we'll review based on the application. We really need you to write the essays in your own words, not copy from any other sources. So we take plagiarism extremely seriously here at Teach For Nepal. Once we have the form, we review If you make it through, then we invite you for the first round of interview. If you are in Kathmandu, we'll invite you for the interview in the office. If you're outside of Kathmandu, we can do interview over the phone or Skype. Again, if you make it through the first round of interviews, we then will invite you for our final round of interviews, which is called Assessment Center. This is a full day activity-based interview. You go through some written tests, a lot of activities during that day, and also a final interview. Once that process is complete, only then we will either select you or not based on all the competency you've demonstrated over the period of this time. It usually takes about 2 months from the day you submit application to finally hear back from us. This is extremely highly selective program. Only about 7% applicant who apply get to become Teach For Nepal fellow. It's a part of a global program, so we only recruit highly competent individual to become Teach For Nepal fellow. This is just to reiterate, this is a full-time, 2 years of full-time paid opportunity. This is not short-term voluntary work. As Teach For Nepal fellow, you work in a school as a full-time teacher for 2 years. This is a paid opportunity. Over the 2 years, we pay about 426,000 rupees as a stipend, but we also provide additional benefit. There's a health insurance. If you have to travel for work purpose, we provide a travel reimbursement as well. All the trainings are in-house, so we cover that cost. So for one fellow, we invest about 5 lakh per person per year. So we invest a lot in our fellow. We're doing that. On the top of that, there are a number of colleges and universities in Nepal and abroad who provide scholarship opportunity. For example, King's College in Nepal has offered 2 scholarship to pursue MBA degree. University of Bridgeport in the US, where I study, has a scholarship opportunity for our Teach For Nepal fellows. But we're investing so much because this is part of our long-term strategy to support our fellows to become effective leaders. To apply for the fellowship, you must have bachelor's degree. Either you have completed the bachelor's degree, or if you have completed your first year or second year, and if it's a four-year bachelor's, then third year, but have taken final year examination and waiting for results, you can still apply and can get selected. That's it. I think that's pretty much all. Again, thank you so much for being here and listening to this presentation. If you have further questions, you can reach out to our office, email us, or call us. Thank you so much. I look forward to receiving your application.